So welcome, ladies. Gosh, thanks so much for being here for another Spirit of Success University workshop. We're talking about how to survive and thrive this summer. And really the emphasis on thrive. You know, we want to do so much more than just survive, right? So we're going to tackle the 9 common causes for summer slumps. And we're going to take a look at strategies that will help us cure those slumps, most importantly. So if you were part of our leaders workshop a couple of weeks ago, you are certainly ahead of the class today. So thank you for that. And I encourage you guys during our next 45 minutes or so, I'll just encourage you to look for at least one strategy that you'll implement immediately to help you strengthen your business this summer. So again, grab your handouts. We're looking at the 9 causes of summer slumps and how to make sure that we don't just survive, but really thrive this summer. So the first cause of summer slumps, number 1, is lack of customer follow-up. Lack of customer follow-up. Customer follow-up and ongoing customer engagement, those are the secret sauce in direct sales, right? Customer engagement, customer follow-up, that's our secret sauce. You know, retailers cannot follow up and have ongoing friendship and engagement with customers like direct sellers can, because we have that opportunity to build a friendship with our customers. So if you haven't already done so, create for yourself, especially this summer, just an easy follow-up system. So you can follow up with your customers, especially right after they placed an order and right after it's been delivered to them. Most of you get notifications of when that happens. It's a good time to follow up, just check in. And also you want to make sure you have a system for ongoing customer engagement, like most of you do in your Facebook community group. Or many of you have a monthly or periodic customer e-newsletter where you stay connected and engaged with your customers. That kind of system, you want to make sure you have a good handle on that. But keep in mind, of course, any customer engagement system is only as good as the time you reserve to actually take action on it. So you want to make sure that you, in your planner, in your schedule, at least once a week, that you schedule when you will make your follow-up contact, reaching out to those customers. Just like you schedule the actual party where you met your customer or where you served your customer, write it in your planner that you have this time set aside to follow up with those customers that you just met at the party earlier this week, or who just received their orders earlier this week. Schedule it. If you schedule it, you'll do it. It's been said that an hour a day keeps the slumps away. It may not take an hour a day, but here's the message. A regular, consistent time is the key to effective follow-up and scheduling that time, just making it consistent and regular and a priority. Ongoing customer follow-up becomes your priority. And it's really an opportunity, especially this summer, if you haven't gotten into that pattern. It's an opportunity to employ what John Maxwell calls in his law of addition, where you look for ways to add value. If you've read any of Maxwell, you know that those are keywords for him, adding value to your customers, even beyond that initial sale. So consider sharing ideas about the product that they purchased, which would add value to them, even after, like when they've received it, or maybe a couple weeks later, what they've received. Send them some information that would help them in using that product or enjoying that product even more. Post that, in a private message, or even on your community page with your group, or maybe just share a favorite recipe. It doesn't have anything to do with your product necessarily, but maybe just a favorite summer recipe or a favorite quote. I love doing that myself on our group page. Or an organizing tip, or I love these daily household hacks. I love it when people post that. The way that they found to get grass stain out of their white jeans or whatever. I mean, these hacks that are so creative. Anything that could add value to your customers that isn't necessarily connected to the actual product, but you know them. These are women in most cases who are just like you. And so anything that you would find helpful, they would find helpful. So consider those types of posts or private messages or texts or emails, a periodic e-newsletter. That ongoing contact means that you will not become a stranger to your customers. Instead, you'll be that trusted, reliable friend and consultant that they have come to know and come to depend on. And you know what? As I think about that, guys, that is really no small privilege to be that trusted friend. Most, unfortunately, and I think I can say this with all honesty, and I bet you'll back me up on this. Most direct sellers out there in direct sales world, all those who are not with us today, most direct, and by that I mean not on the call, not like, anyway, not on the call today. Most direct sellers make a sale and then they kind of disappear. They think, I made that sale, we're good. They love them and leave them. That's what I call love them and leave them syndrome. And they use the excuse, well, now I don't want to be pushy. So make the sale and then leave them alone. Well, there's a Greek term for that thinking. Ready? Write it down. The Greek term, baloney. Baloney. It is never, hear me, never pushy to maintain a friendship and serve your customer by staying engaged. So use those strategies to cure that lack of follow-up, which is the first of our 9 challenges in the summer that can cause us slumps. All right, second cause of summer slumps, lack of goal setting and goal tracking. Lack of goal setting and goal tracking. You know what? We sometimes make the mistake. I won't ask for a show of hands, but I bet most of us could say this is true. We sometimes make the mistake of thinking at times that our summer business activity is just a bonus and doesn't really count. But that, as Zig Ziglar would call it, is stinking thinking. Not setting and tracking your summer goals can lead to an almost immediate summer slump. Hear me on that. In essence, you're telling yourself you have no expectations for your business this summer. I literally have heard people say that. And you know what? You usually get what you expect. If you have no expectations, there you go. So instead, be smart. Be smart about setting and tracking summer goals. You can't hit a target you can't see. I've said that before. I know you've heard that, but it's so true. You can't hit a target you can't see, and your goals are your target. And so set those SMART goals, SMART, specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and trackable. You know how to do that. Even a simple goal, like, how much in sales you would like June, July, August, or how many shows each month, June, July, August, or maybe even, do you want to invite someone to, consider stepping into this business alongside you, so that then she's really up and running come the fall. Really, summer is the smartest time for someone to get started, because then they're up and running in the fall. They don't have to wait until fall and then ramp everything up. So be smart, set some smart, specific goals. They don't have to be huge, but amount of sales, number of shows, sponsoring, even expanding your network. Those are some basics for the summer, and make sure they're measurable. Make sure that even small goals are measurable, not, more sales, but how much, not, more bookings, how many. Be specific, be measurable, and then be sure you keep track of your progress. One step that I've done, and I know I've shared this with a number of you, in tracking my goals, is tracking daily wins. Very simple, very simple. Just track a daily win. I write it down in my calendar at the end of the day. What were 1 or 2 victories that I experienced that day? Sometimes it's something small, but sometimes it's much more significant. And the idea is that over a week's time, that I can really see the progress that I've made. On Monday, Tuesday, it might not look like you're making a lot of progress, but by Friday, you look back over the week, you think, oh, adding all those daily wins, It really makes a difference. Progress motivates. Progress motivates, guys, and we need to see it, and especially during the summer months. So just jot it down at the end of your day and your calendar. And, maybe you worked for an hour that day, but at the end of that hour, jot down what was your daily win, because it's effort over time. Darren Hardy wrote the book called The Compound Effect, and it has excellent, easy to implement strategies to turn small steps into big victories. But the daily win is an example. It's actually a Maxwell strategy, the daily win, but it is what Darren Hardy writes about, in essence, in the compound. I got that book right here, The Compound Effect. If you've ever gotten that book, Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, it looks like this. But yeah, it's just turn small steps into big victories. So post your daily wins. If you've developed the habit, guys, of tracking your daily wins in the chat space, just jot down "I have." If you've already been tracking your daily wins in the chat space, type "I have." If you're going to start it, if you will start tracking your daily wins, type "I will." I'd love to see that. Either "I have" because you are, or "I will" because you will. That'd be kind of fun to see. All right, I will. Susan, thank you. I have. Jess, yes, I have. Good job. Janet, I will. Good. Your emphasis on that. There you go, girl. Tammy Sue, I have. And Diane, I will. Good deal. Good deal, you guys. It makes it's a little thing, but it makes a huge difference. I mean, seriously, if you walk away today and that's the only thing that you do, it will make a huge difference, because it shows progress and it's encouraging, and we absolutely need to see that. So be sure that you are using those strategies to cure that lack of goal setting and lack of tracking that can plague us in the summer. Our third cause of summer slumps is number 3, errors, meaning mistakes in the basics, mistakes in the basic skills. I can't tell you how often, guys, that I have clients tell me that, they used to do a certain strategy, but then they started trying something else and they totally forgot about that original strategy that, by the way, was working. And so it's a basics work. So be sure that you brush up, especially during the summer months, on the basics, and think about it. These past 2.5 years of doing virtual shows during COVID, we get a little rusty in-person shows, and I've heard it, you've heard it. Your customers are clamoring to get out of the house, out from behind the computer screen, get together, see each other face to face. And a party is a great opportunity to do that. So one of the things that you could be brushing up now, as far as a basic, is your in-home presentation skills, also booking skills or recruiting skills, and customer engagement skills, again, as we talked about. So assess, where you are and what you really need to brush up on right now, because right now is the best time to do it. Whatever you find that you're doing well in, like, what, I got that, I'm doing well. What happens if you just take a peek at that again, you'll do even better. And when you strengthen what's already an area that you're strong in, it gets even better, which is great. So don't ignore the things where you're doing well. It's okay to strengthen it even more. But certainly wherever you're struggling, work on that skill this summer. You get a teammate who will practice it with you. I mean, for example, if you haven't consistently been inviting guests to book when you're at your shows, to book a show while you're at your shows, you've just been forgetting to mention it, or you get a little hesitant. Get help with what to say. Ask one of your peers, what do they say at their parties when they talk about the Hostess program? Get help from, practice it then together. Or maybe you haven't been following up with guests after a show. Well, talk to a peer, learn what she's doing, and then practice it. You can always find an area to improve. And guys, summer is the time to do it. By the time fall rolls around, rubber hits the road, and you're just gonna get so busy with other things that you'll unfortunately neglect that practicing. So use the summertime to correct any mistakes in the basics that maybe you've been prone to. I'm just kind of curious, what might be one skill, one area that you would like to strengthen? Put that in the chat space. What's one area of your business that you would like to strengthen? that you could see yourself doing this summer? Just kind of brushing up on it a bit. Put that in the chat space. Susan mentioned bookings. I think you're probably going to be in good company with that. It's always good to brush up on that. Janet said bookings and host coaching. There you go. Di, getting new bookings. Okay. Okay. Increasing party average. Thank you for that one. Tammy Sue, phone calls, texts, email. There you go. Okay. So you've got some. Anne mentioned new customers, expanding your network. Very good. Diane, that presentation. There you go. Good job, guys. Good job. Okay, our fourth cause of summer slumps is neglecting daily business activity. It really is the challenge of the summer months to balance your family's summer schedule with your business activities. After all, one of the blessings of working your business is having a flexible schedule. Just be certain that your flexible schedule doesn't become an optional business schedule this summer. You know, nothing will cause you to fall into a slump faster than neglecting daily business activity. Now, let me be clear. You don't need to put in an 8-hour day, but you do want to plan some time each day. And again, as I've said before, consistency is more important than length of time. Consistency, 4 or 5 days a week, consistency is more important. And during that time, think about focusing on your RGAs. Your RGAs, guys, you've heard me talk about this before, your revenue generating activities, RGAs. Whenever you sit down, if it's 30 minutes that you have that day, think, okay, what's my highest RGA, revenue generating activity? Especially the shorter amount of time you have, the more you want to focus on the high touch, big impact activities, such as targeted texts or emails to customers that you're recommending certain products that will complement products that they've already purchased the past few months. I know many of you are really good at that. And even though it may seem like, okay, well, I'm contacting fewer customers, you'll have a higher impact, because when you target specific customers, you know what they've already purchased. You now have something new to share with them, and you send those private messages, or you send those special texts or those posts or whatnot. And even though you might think, gosh, if I sent out a blast, I could, blanket the whole group, but it's not a high RGA. A mass text or a mass email will not give you as high an impact as a targeted text, targeted posts. Even general post on your group Facebook page is not as high impact. So when you can, I'm not blasting and saying you shouldn't do the larger ones, but when you can, be sure that you have scheduled time for your high RGAs, your high revenue generating activities. Also, as you're scheduling your work time, consider what Jeff Henderson recommends in his book, Know What You're For. I know many of you have heard me talk about this book. It is so good. Know What You're For. Write that one down and get it ordered. Ooh, I hear somebody needs to mute. I hear somebody's got noise in the background, guys. Please mute. Hit mute. I hear some noise. Thanks. But Jeff Henderson has written Know What You're For. And he recommends that you look at your daily activities and categorize them as either actions that will help you run your business or actions that will help you build your business. Because see, we need to do both. We're in the business of running our business every day, but we also have to make sure that we're building our business for the future. And so it's helpful if you kind of, as you look at the list of things that you're working on any particular day, that you identify R or B. If it's an R, that means that's an activity that helps me run my business, like connecting with your customers, or, for maybe there's a return that she has. So you got to connect with her that way, or your hostess coaching, or you're connecting with a team member. Those are things that you do, sending out emails and just regular activities. You're doing some posts and whatnot. Those things are running your business. So you can put an R next to those activities. And chances are most of your time is spent on running your business, but we've got to spend time on building. And so put a B next to any activities that you list where you're building your business for the future, like reaching out to customers to book a show, reaching out to customers to invite them to learn more about your career option, maybe attending a vendor event, because that's really about the future, trying to get new faces, doing a networking event. Those kinds of things are building. And so there's a part of every day that you want to make sure that at least one or two activities, you are very purposeful about building your business. Be very intentional to schedule both running your business activities, which I think you do anyway, but also building your business activities, and identify them in your schedule as you list them. Now, there are some activities that cover both, because there are times when you're for example, posting something on your group community page, and you're not only running your business because you're reminding them about something, but you're also, because you're connecting, you're building your business. So sometimes they cover both angles, but chances are you might have fewer building business activities because we just don't think about it as much purposefully. So schedule your appointment for when you're going to do that, and schedule your appointment every day to get to work. Show up every day. Show up every day in the summer, at least 4 days a week, if not 5. And it doesn't have to be an 8-hour day, but the consistency, the regularity. It's better to have, a half hour, 45 minutes, an hour a day versus, 5 hours on Wednesday and then nothing the rest of the week. Consistency. Slumps are cured daily, not in a day. So consistency, not the amount of time. That's what's key. So to cure your summer slumps, don't neglect daily business activity. All right, number 5, guys, cause of summer slumps is loss of your why, or loss of your purpose. When you hit a slump and you get frustrated because of that, you're not seeing the bookings, you're not seeing the new prospects, your sales are not where they want to be. It's normal to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Really, truly, when you've asked yourself that, it's okay. Don't feel bad. We all have. It's normal. It's actually a good question to ask if you're going to ever have the perseverance to work your way out of that slump. So think about it. Why do you do what you do? How does your business make a difference in your life, in your family's life, in your community as a whole? How does your business make a difference? It can be extremely helpful, guys, to put that answer in writing and keep it in front of you, because you'll have those times when your attitude is low and you need to rekindle your passion for why you are doing this and be reminded of the impact it is having. You might not be seeing that paycheck this week. It might be a little lower this month than what you had planned. So it's important to remember that it is making an impact, that your efforts are making, have made, and will make an impact. Remind yourself of that. Write it down. It can also be helpful to redefine your expectations of what you want from your business. Just because it's summer doesn't mean you need to lower your expectations. As I mentioned earlier, keep your goals and your expectations in front of you. Guys, listen, the battle over slumps will always be waged first right here in your mind. So keep your expectations and your purpose written and in front of you, because we got to make sure we got our thinking right, because it'll always be waged first in our mind. If our thoughts are right, then our actions can follow and the results will follow that. But if our thoughts aren't right, our actions won't be right and we won't see a change in those results. And it always helps to have, some encouragers. So who are the people in your life who keep you energized? John Maxwell calls those people firelighters, because they can help restore the light that may have dimmed a bit. They can help restore the fire for your business. This is an emotional business, guys, and we need those firelighters in our lives to keep our energy up and to encourage us along the way. So we all have firelighters. Just pick one and put her first name in the chat space, or his. Maybe it's hubby. It's okay. So who's your firelighter? Who's the person who you can count on? They'll come alongside. They might kick you in the butt a little bit. That's okay. Sometimes we need somebody to light a fire under us in a little more enthusiastic way, but oftentimes it's words of encouragement. So who are your firelighters? Shirley, thank you. Your dear husband. I love that. Anybody else? Put that firelighter. List that person. And, you can also be one for others as well. Well, guys, the sixth cause of slumps, poor initial training. Poor initial training. You might not have thought of this, but let me share a little research. Research shows that when times get tough, in whatever work we do, whether it's your direct sales business or really any job that you're in, when times get tough, we tend, research tells us, to fall back on those things that we learned in our first 90 days of that job, of that business. We tend to fall back when things get tough. We tend to fall back on whatever we learned in those first 90 days. So if you had good, solid training in the basics in your first 90 days, even if it's been years ago, then when you get in a pinch, you've got something solid to fall back on. You've probably built on that. But if your initial training was weak, then even years later, you can really struggle during slumps. So the cure, no matter how long ago it was that you started your business, whether you had good, solid initial training or whether you had weak initial training, we all have things we wished we'd learned sooner. So what do you wish you'd learned sooner? Gosh, I hear so often from direct sellers. They wish they'd learned how to recruit and build a team sooner. If somebody asked me what was the number one thing, that's it. I hear that over and over, 35 plus years in this business, guys. As I've told you before, I know I look so young, but I hear that so often that they'll say, I wish I had started sooner on building a team. I wish I'd learned more about recruiting earlier. I'm curious, what do you wish you'd learned sooner? Jot it in the chat space. I don't mean that we need to have regrets. What it means is then we can do something about it. Kara, I love it that you found it. Oh, I love it. I see recruiting. I see systems. I see better time management, priority management. That's right, Susan, priority management. All right, that's okay. Hey, the cool thing is, whatever it is you wish you'd learned sooner, now's the time. You know the saying, what's the best time to plant an oak tree? 20 years ago. What's the second best time? Today, right? So think of it. Think about it that way. Today's the best time. Whatever it is you wish you'd learned sooner, start now. The number one skill we know that you need in this business, no matter if you're brand new or a seasoned veteran, guys, the number one skill, bookings. Bookings. So what's the most reliable booking strategy that you use to secure bookings? Just in a couple words, put that in the chat space. What's the number one, your best booking strategy? What gets you bookings beyond anything else? Ask. Thank you, Susan. I love that. What is your number one booking strategy? Love to have you share that in the chat space. Others want to hear that. Shirley, just ask. Yeah. You know, the answer to the unasked question is always no. So if you're starting at no, then don't fear it. I mean, I hear so often, I'm kind of afraid they're going to say no. Well, you're not asking, so the answer is already no. It can only go up. It's either going to stay no, which you're already at no, or it's going to go up. It's going to be, let me think about it. Well, you know what? Maybe later in the season, or yes. So it's only going to go up. Anybody else? Jot down your strategies. What is it that you count on for bookings? Share that with your peers in the chat space. I love those. You know, you can't go back and change the past. There's no sense having regrets, but you can make a concerted effort to strengthen areas where you are weaker and make a commitment that you will provide solid initial training for your new future recruits. All right, the seventh cause of slumps. Number 7 is lack of growth in your network. Lack of growth in your network. I'm sure you know by now that the first 6 to 8 hostesses who got your business started, no matter how long ago that was, that's just not enough to build your business into the future. You know that. But you can meet those new people through your first number of hostesses. So you all know the Frank list. And if it's been a while, I mean, really, if it's been more than 2 months since you freshened up your Frank list, time to do that. Schedule 30 minutes within the next 3 days. Schedule 30 minutes and refresh your Frank list and add new names. And then connect with them. Invite them to your house for a summer patio party. You know, they're going to come, they're going to socialize, you're going to show your products. Invite them. Ask them also to bring a friend. You know, expanding your network begins with who your friends know. Friends of friends are your growth network. And make this a point of emphasis with your hostess coaching, and reward your hostesses for inviting new friends and asking their guests to do the same. Make that a big part of your reward system. And you know you're doing well when new friends outnumber invited guests at your shows. That's a good way to kind of gauge that. But start with that. Make sure also that you become a student of expanding your network through books like Ivan Misner's 29% Solution. Some of you know I've recommended this book before. Ivan Misner, The 29% Solution. I think I have that in your notes. Looks like this. Great book on networking. Great, simple steps with high impact. And then also I mentioned earlier before, sorry, Jeff Henderson's book, Know What You're For, also has some really good ideas for expanding your network. The longer that you've been in your business, guys, the more important it is for you to prioritize expanding your network. Just think, you probably have yet to meet most of those who will be your hostesses for later this fall and who will be your future new team members. But you know what? They're out there, and you'll meet them most likely through those you already know. And then don't be afraid to join. Traditional business networking groups give you a structure to purposely meet new people. So make it a part of your summer strategies to join. You know, whether you join a business networking group, a garden club, a mom's group, a book club, a Bible study, you know, be certain you go with the mindset of being more interested than interesting. Be sincerely interested in those you meet. You're not there to sell or recruit. You're not. You're there to get to know others. And when you are sincerely interested in what others care about, they will become interested in what you care about. So if you don't already, prioritize networking this summer. Okay, the 8th cause of slumps, not staying current with updates. You know, as part of point number 4 that we talked about just a minute ago, you'll stay out of summer slumps when you keep your head in the game daily, that daily activity. Part of that is checking in with your company and team Facebook pages and emails for those daily, weekly, monthly updates. So make sure that you're doing that as part of your daily activities. And also engage with your team, engage with your peers. Guys, be someone others can count on by showing up. Show up for your meetings. Show up by responding to posts and texts. Gosh, if this is something that you take with you, I hope you will. Respond, not just like, but respond. I'm working hard. I'm not great at this yet, but I'm working really hard myself to say something in a text or a post, especially posts on Facebook. When I see something, I'm good to quick to put the heart or the like or whatever, because I sincerely do. But I know that the encouragement really comes when I say something. So say something as often as you can. You know how you feel when you post something or you text something and you get crickets. Don't do that to your upline or to your team members. This summer, make a renewed commitment. If that's something you need to improve, and some of you are excellent at doing this, so you're good. But if that's something where you're thinking that you could do better, I will say I could do better. Let's make sure that we do that. We don't allow crickets to happen, especially with regard to your team, especially with regard to your team. Be present, show up. Number 9, the 9th cause of slumps. We're here, guys. Not seeking support or accountability, not seeking support or accountability. That's number 9. Growth doesn't happen in a silo. Remember, solo is no-go for mojo. Yeah, I made that up by myself. You can probably tell. Solo is no-go for mojo. Growth doesn't happen in a silo. We can't get motivated when we're alone. And that's especially true during the summer months. If you disappear from your business for 3 months, it takes 3 times more effort to get restarted in the fall. Do you realize that? It takes 3 times more effort to get restarted in the fall. I'm preaching to the choir because you're here, you're engaged. I get that. I just want to give you some information that you can share with your peers who maybe disappear at times. Because we know this type of business depends on what, guys? Momentum. Momentum. You can't shut things down in June and then flip a switch to restart in 3 months. Doesn't happen that way. So it helps to have a partner, helps to have a peer, a buddy to do this business with and to check in with during the summer. So who's your summer accountability buddy? Type her name in the chat space. Who's your accountability buddy? Maybe you haven't asked her yet, but you're going to. Got to have a summer buddy, a summer accountability buddy. I love that. Thank you, Di. You got Teddy. Tammy, so you've got a couple. Good for you, Carrie, Sophia, and Joanne. Good for you. Everybody needs a summer buddy that you can check in with and not commiserate with, not let each other off the hook. Be the fire lighter. You know, light a fire under their butt and yours too. Probably should have said it that way, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, we're all friends. But it's important to have that accountability buddy. Iron sharpens iron. Iron sharpens iron. In his book, The 17 Indisputable Laws of Teamwork, Maxwell wrote this. He wrote, 1 is too small a number to achieve greatness. 1 is too small a number to achieve greatness. In essence, he was saying we need each other. We need our tribe, our team, our buddies who lift us up. That's the power of having accountability and support in your business. People who can help you stay sharp and people with whom, you know, you can sharpen. So iron sharpens iron for each other. And you know what I found? The fast track out of a slump or to really stay away from them is to help someone else. A friend of my husband's was a Major League Baseball pitcher years ago. And he said that whenever he was in a pitching slump, that in addition to working on his basics, that he would work his way out of a slump by taking the focus off himself and helping another teammate with their skills. He said it always worked. So look around you. You won't have far to go to find someone on your team who you can help. And in doing so, you guys, you both win. So how do you survive and thrive and avoid the slumps this summer? Well, you now, guys, have a checklist of 9 causes of slumps and, more importantly, how to cure them. So take just a minute here and identify maybe 2 or 3 actions that you will implement this summer and jot them down there on your action plan. Boy, I'm getting a lot of background noise, guys. So could you please be sure that you're on mute because I want to make sure our recording stays nice and clean. Thank you. Just a lot of rustling around and background noise. So if you're rustling around, that's you. So jot down your action steps. Jot down some action steps. Somebody's doing some work in the kitchen. Because we're hearing it. Rustling around in a drawer. Maybe it's your office. Rustling around in a drawer. Something. We got some noise. I think we got it. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Hey, take one of those steps you just listed, put it in the chat space. Would love to see those. All right. I see follow-up system. I see patio housewarming party. Follow-up, write out a plan, Shirley. Thank you. Taking action. Jess, growing your network. I love that. Susan, setting goals. You go, girl. You betcha. Laura, customer follow-up. Yeah, that engagement. Yeah, there's something there. Let's see. Di, refresh your Frank list. Thank you for that, Di. And more follow-up. Make sure you know exactly what you want to do with that. Get real specific. Good job. Good job, guys. Good job. Good job. And join a group, join a club. Yeah. Yeah. We can't be in a silo. Diane says goal setting. Janet says finding that why. Good for you. Good for you, my friend. Good job, guys. Good job. Hey, if you found this to be valuable today, would you give us a rating just real quick in the chat space from 1 to 5? 1, not valuable. 5, valuable. So just let us know, was it valuable? Because that's the whole purpose of the day, that it would add value to you, that there's something you can use immediately. All right, good, good, good. Looks like some good, immediate, quick and concise. God love you, Di. I'm looking at my clock going, I got to keep talking faster. Thank you. Oh, gosh. Oh, Sydney, you're cracking me up with your hearts. Thank you. I appreciate that. My heart to yours. Hey, guys, what topic do you want to hear in the future? What topic have you been thinking you'd love to hear more about? Could you put that in the chat space? Because I always hang on to these and I take notes off our chat space. So what topics, so that I know for our next university call, next workshop, what would you like to hear in the future? Kara, thank you, bless you. And Di, thank you about the handout. I appreciate that. Okay, what do you want to hear? What topics? So go ahead and put them in the chat space. If there's a topic you'd like to hear in the future, let me know so that I know what would be helpful for you. That's always good for me to know. Building a recruiting culture. Thanks, Jess. Overcoming objections. Thank you, Laura. Di, how to keep a positive attitude day in and day out. Yeah, that mindset, our thinking. That's a big part of our work. Finding new customers. So networking. I was thinking about that one, Susan. I think that's a hot one. I think I'm with you too. Sydney, your daily checklist. Okay, there you go. So some of those priorities every day. Thanks, Susan. I appreciate it. Okay, yeah. So let me know. Write that down, guys, because I will go back to this chat list. I get that, of course, as you know, and I can make notes. So I want to know how it can most help you. Guys, one of the most impactful ways for us to journey together on a regular basis, many of you do this already, you join on Monday mornings. Monday mornings, we meet as a group of direct sellers for a Monday morning Bible study and prayer call. We hear a word from the Lord. We encourage each other in prayer. It's called First Things First. And we meet on Monday mornings at 10 a.m. East Coast, which is 7 a.m. Pacific. And you can listen in on the recordings of past calls that we've done on my website, spiritofsuccess.com. You'll see access to the free podcasts and such. So you can listen to hear what some of the past Bible studies are. We're currently working through a book called The Church in Babylon. And I know many of you on this call are part of that group. But if you would like more information, just email me. You can pop in whenever you can. It's a 30-minute call on Monday mornings at 10 a.m. East Coast. And you are welcome to join. And I would dearly love for you to do that. And again, you can pop in when you can, pop out when you need to. If summer is easier for you, great. If not, that's okay. Email me, Beth@spiritofsuccess.com for the details, and then join us whenever you can. But check my website, spiritofsuccess.com, and listen into some of the past ones. And also just remember, as you're thinking through slumps, the best way to keep slumps away is to partner with coaching. And we can partner individually or in a small group with your peers for coaching to help with those slumps, to help make sure you stay out of those slumps. So again, email me, Beth@spiritofsuccess.com. There's a special discount that I have for you. Be sure you mention that you were part of this workshop. I'll make sure you get the special discount. So be sure you email me, Beth@spiritofsuccess.com, to ask about that, either for yourself individually or for a group.